Okay, howdy. Windhorse here from Planet Peace in the Gold Country of California. Welcome back to GCTV, Good Conscience Television. Okay, so I could ramble on like Led Zeppelin. I could haul a rig in here and make your hair stand up. Not going to do it. Yeah. Going to use a little light humor to explain a few things to follow up on yesterday's concepts, which were laying out the meaning of this channel. So this is being broadcast on YouTube. It's for you. It's not about me. It's for you, so you can realize what's in here. Most humans don't even know there's something in here that is life-changing. It's not out there. Although when you go in here to look for it, it connects to the universal version of, and that thing in here, no striptease, no. G-O-O-D. Oh, that's just God with another O. How many O's are you ready for? Because we're going to blow some socks and scare a few people that are bullying people around with arms of varying degrees, from the silly little knife concept to the bullet concept to the bigger trajectory concept all the way out into space. Well, guess what? The jig's up. Because there are people walking on this planet right now who understand what we're talking about here as brothers, visualizing about, that ends all the need for the arms. Yeah, the jig's up. It really is. Now let me tell you why. All the people waving their arms in different directions and shooting pooting little projectiles off to hurt people, well, they don't work when you understand how wings work. Wings, folks. Now they're going, oh, he's sailing, he's off like a kite. Well, no. This is Windhorse, the native name, given to me by my native friends, whose country my forefathers invaded. For not the purest of reasons, I digress. You don't need arms when you got wings. Hey, Paul? Hey, Paul? That's you. That's for you, baby blue. Paul McCartney. One of the wings, eh? So, the band I mentioned to you, Conspiracy of Peace, that's the next version of the Wings, which was the next version of the Beatles, if you didn't get it. Okay, so, wings. How do we get to the wings that can fly above any projectile we can produce here on this sad little spinning rock? Well, it's not as hard as you might think. The way to get beyond arms affecting you in a negative way, some arms are good. Hugs, arms and hammer takes the stink away. Hey, that's not a plug. It's a reality. It's a chemistry thing. How do you get rid of the arms? Well, you show them how to grow wings. How do wings happen? Well, not right away, or you'd crash and burn. Ask Icarus. If you guys know anything or have heard anything about Greek mythology, philosophy, it's when humanity was bumping it up a notch. I don't know, 3,000-4,000 years ago, Earth years, Gregorian Earth years. There was a upgrade of consciousness back then, and there really hasn't been one since. And the root of motivation to up human consciousness, this is Good Conscience TV, duh, light bulb, here we go. So how do you fly? What's the fuel? Well, first there needs to be no fear of flying. Wow. Profound and simple and everything in between. So, by flying, those who have learned how to fly have learned how to liberate spirit out of body to go beyond body and the ego perspective that keeps us stuck down here. It's what sucks. It's what's creating the gravity. You know, we got a gravity of sucking. We got a lifetime, of sucking. That's life. You want to know how to overcome the sucking, the gravity, and get those wings out and start flapping them and maybe get off the ground? First process of getting away from just the strict arm concept. You know, there's an arm in a wing, but a wing is a highly defined arm that when used properly, okay, boom. The perspective shift that happens when you begin to fly, physically or mentally, is what we're here to remember. Among other things, there's a gazillion of them, but we forget we can fly. And there's lots of belief systems and shallow-minded thinking systems that want to tell you, no, that's for the angels, hells, Satans, heavens, whatever. Wings aren't for us. We were born on this planet, we were meant to fly or we'd have wings. Well, that's only a little correct. Mostly it's incorrect. Spirit, that thing in here, the good, ta-da, and make an infinity symbol with the double O, and you're off. No flight school required. Because when you know there are infinite ways to take off, there are also infinite ways to land. There's no fear. You're boing right off the diving board into the deep end to pull the poor suckers that are drowning in ego, creating fascism, aggression, and bullshit war. Okay? Who among us wants to send our kids to someone else's war? Who of us wants to send our kids off to fight someone else's war? I'm sorry. We're too far along now. We know about our physical selves way more than we did a decade ago, let alone a century or a millennia ago. We understand this physical world that we're experiencing vis-a-vis the physical and non-physical universe. We're floating and spinning and whatever, bubbling through. Anyway, to some people, this is going to seem like a pipe dream and an alternate reality. Well, why don't you choose? You want a reality that dictates, okay, your kids you just had, they're going off to war. What the hell for? No good reason. Just some asshole wants to be an aggressive, dim bulb. Don't get me going on my English because it's not that good. I got no command of the English language. The universal language is mathematical. It's very hard to misinterpret the simple math of the universe, let alone the calculus of the universe. If you understand the simple math, the algebra, the second and third degree computations, then you'll understand how computers have gotten a little ahead of us. Because really, computer programming is getting to the point where human ego cannot be programmed into it because there is too much probability to leave room for the shallow perspective of an individual ego dominating it. Ego's okay, but it needs to be kept in check by the reality of the universe. When people are thinking too much through self, me versus the world, Joe versus a volcano, good movie, silly, but good. Anyway, us versus them. That's the fight or flight. Well, I think the wise spirit will choose the flight unless you choose to fight to teach others how to fly away. That's what we who have learned how to fly in spirit to the places to see the greater probability of no war, no peace. No piece of shit, I mean, not no peace, but no piece of shit telling you what to do and keeping you in war. So the thing that's going on in Iran right now, if you've ever been to Persia, you should be crying. Because it's bullshit. It's some bully going in and being a bully, knowing that there's not going to be equal retribution to their worthless contribution. The bully bullies the person they know they can bully, right? When you stand up to that, it stops the bully. If not, you use the bully's aggression to toss the bully aside. Okay? You can fly back down and keep him from bullying others. That's easy. You can take off and land infinite ways. When you remember your true being isn't being, it's energy that's being inside this temporary body. Spiritus, sanctum. It's not sanctimonious. The sanctum they're talking about within Spiritus Sanctum, the sanctum is the peace sanctum. It's the connection to the universe. It's the infinite probability of a more positive outcome than might happen if you didn't know how to go in here through mindful breathing. So, once again, I said I was going to keep these short. This is number 2. My brothers that walked from Fort Worth to Washington, D.C., okay, they know how to fly. Although it looked like they were just walking, they know how to fly. Ask them about it. It's really pretty simple, and it starts with mindfulness. If you heard any of what any of those wonderful human beings, spirits in human form, were trying to show us by galloping across, 2,300 miles or something in 108 days? That's flying to most people who are at a tortoise pace with upgrading this processor by breathing through this more mindfully. Okay, so we'll be back. More music. We'll bring more humor in. Here's a couple of responses to the concept of epic fury. I mean, this is pro wrestling mentality. It's entertaining, but when it gets to hurting people in the big time, it's bullshit. And any pro wrestler who has a heart will follow me on this one. So instead of epic fury, how about spastic and blurry, spastic hurry, nonastic worry, hot dick curry. I mean, these all rhyme. Run with it, folks, with this stupid concept of epic fury. Epic fury is wielded by pinheads, bullies, little men. Not women doing this, it's men. Women might be following some men's orders. It's been going on too long. Okay, so these people who are in this epic fury based in a deep anger, we'll talk about anger more, but anger is created by two balls, trying to juggle two balls or brag about two balls. Okay? When you're ready to fly, those balls start cell dividing. When you've got 7 balls, you're way better than 2 balls because each ball's lighter and can fly. It's not holding you down like ballast, dragging in the dirt, can't get off the runway because you're thinking about the cojones. Well, okay, here's how to upgrade to 5 balls and then 7 balls. 1 ball means you have another ball hiding behind the ball that you don't see. So if there's 1 ball, there's a second ball. And this is not a magic trick. It's a reality perception, greater reality perception. If there's 2 balls, guess what? Those balls got together, and there's probably 3 balls. That's why there were 3 balls in a can of tennis balls. If you've ever bought a bottle of tennis balls or a box of balls, it's 3 or 4 anyway. So 1 to 3, boom, you're on to 4, into 5. You get to 5 balls when you realize the 1 to 3 balls aren't going to cut it because this is going to be a long match. You're going to need more balls. So, how am I going to get 2 more balls? Next thing you know, as you're intently staring at the 2 to 5 balls, 2 of them split off, you got 7 balls. Boom, love bomb, you're off and sailing, flying, winging it, not fighting it with arms, Anyone want to do a little Wing Chun? Huh? Which deflects and redirects and might even slap you in the face before you get a chance to move again. Whether it's Wing Chun, Jeet Kune Do, when you know how to stop the force coming at you that's negative, that's the pathway to peace. These are the highest martial arts. Not many people have been practicing them proportionately in the human race. There are masters who have mastered peace. You can do it. We'll talk about it more. So, I've run over again. Coming up on 19 minutes. Hey, I can't help myself. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's like writing songs. Sometimes they just go on and on and on and on. But really only a couple of verses and a couple of choruses and maybe a bridge in between cuts it for most. But this is Flight School 101. This is how to get over arms and bullies. And we're at 19 minutes. You want to stretch it to 20? You want me to shut up? I could do a vote thing here, but I don't have that set up yet. Be back sooner than you think. We're going to try and do one of these a day. So I said maybe between 7 and 11 minutes. Well, it's that times a factor of 2 because yesterday was 14 and today's going to be, what's 11 times 2? 22. It's a catch-22. Fighting is a catch-22. You can keep it from happening by showing other people how to fly away from their ego that creates them makes them aggressive. Hey, they're frustrated. They don't know how to fly. But when flying is another rope-a-dope concept. When you know how to focus chi, you can absorb the blows, or the blow by blow, Jeff Beck, or the blue wind, Jeff Beck, my buddy from Wallington, England, right out of Purley, actually, lived right in that area in the 70s, right. So yeah, I'm not all American. I'm all world. I'm all over the place. So go spread some love and share. And share as much of this as you want with the world, because the world needs to learn to fly above the concepts of fighting. You know, there might not be another life on this planet if we don't learn this lesson right now. Chop, chop. So, get into your breath. The wind horse flies on the wind of breath. The fire horse thrives because its brother is the wind horse. Close enough to 22 minutes. Love, peace, starts here. Boom, then blossoms, blooms. Get done with blowing your horn and dragging your cojones. Realize you got 7 cojones. What's that? Is that right? You got 7 cojones. Fly. Fly away from the concepts of war and aggression and bullshit. Listen to people with your heart, not your ego.